4th down, the final play, unless they can stick it in the end zone. Dorsey under pressure, throws it, incomplete. The Buckeyes win. Ezekiel Elliott, and he's got an opening. Elliott off to the races. Can they catch him?
Feature the two backs as receivers, and now a downfield shot on first down for the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State strikes first. Making adjustments again, and there is Smith running free, breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly from 45 yards. Pressure comes. Sword, knock it out, and picks it up. Jack Sword, coming down the sidelines. Ohio State scoop and score. And dagger from 82 yards.
Here they come.
Heavy pressure, Howard delivers downfield, and Smith, he's got it! Jeremiah Smith, 2025 College Football National Champion, Coach Ryan Day, and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Welcome in, Buckeye backers. We are bringing it to you live from Seattle, Washington, to the cornfields of Enon, Ohio. We are the pulse of Buckeye fans across the nation, with Seattle Matt and Buckeye Steve. What is up, Buckeye backers? Another win, another road trip. Oh, well, the first one of this season, but another road trip for us. All right. As a team, we made it across the United States and are bringing back a W to Columbus. Man, I was a little frustrated by this game, particularly with the offense. What do you got to talk about, Seattle?
I don't know why we're talking offense, man. I think the story of yesterday and the story of 2025 is the defense. And I think that's got to lead here today. I mean, you're looking at a team that's giving up 5.5 points per game. You're looking at a defense that single-handedly kept you in that game yesterday. I think we're all looking at the final score and saying, "Ooh, we're safe." You're looking at 4 minutes to go in the second quarter, and you're down 3-0 on the road. You're down 3-0 on the road because your defense was playing lights out against a very electric offense. Certainly wasn't the offense that was helping the defense there. I think we've had a lot of focus on the weapons and the firepower of the offense. It's about when you start recognizing this team is built around its defense, not its offense.
Preach, brother. You're absolutely right. And if we're going to mention defense, I guess we got to start with Caden Curry, because he was absolutely lights out all over the field. I mean, the dude is fast. He's twitchy. He's in the right place at the right time. He has a motor. Just absolutely fun to watch this kid perform. And he waited his time in that era where you can transfer anytime you want. And he could have done it. He could have been a starter anywhere in the United States. He could have been a starter. But he chose to wait it out at Ohio State. And it's paying off big time right now. Caden Curry, 11 tackles, 9 solo tackles, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss, which is tied for Ohio State record. Single game record. 5 tackles for a loss. Just absolute monster all over the place. Fun to watch. Proud of him. Good for him. Kenyatta Jackson had a great game too. I'm thinking in particular, he set the edge well. They all stayed in their lanes. K-Mac had a brilliant game too. I think he was second leading tackler.
Yeah, he had 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 TFLs.
I mean, I just watched a play where he completely grabbed Williams with one arm, almost laying down on the ground. I mean, he was falling down, spun him around, and Williams' momentum kept him going forward for 5 yards, and he fell on his face. Yeah. You know how much force that takes to throw someone down with one arm to completely change their direction 180 degrees? Wow. Just impressive. Absolutely impressive.
It is, and you're looking at Curry's already got 8 TFLs on the season. Again, TFLs are just as good as getting the offense to commit a penalty or something. You're forcing that negative play. You're forcing them to readjust what they're doing. And I think another thing about the defense, you kind of look at the numbers a little bit deeper. You've had a different leading tackler each of your first 4 games. That's telling me that you're not solely dependent on one or two people. You're looking at an entire defense making plays. Every week, we're talking about somebody different that shined, and it's not because anybody else played bad. It's because it feels like it's almost a competition of leading this team in tackles is a badge of honor because there's so much talent around me. Or leading the team in TFLs is that. And again, everybody's got different roles every single week. And that's what I love about that is you look at somebody like Kenyatta Jackson, and his role this week was set the edge. Make sure Damon didn't get out of the pocket. That's not a glorious position. You're maybe not going to get a lot of stats by doing that, but that's something that shows up on tape that says you kept Damon in the pocket so Curry and others, K-Mac, could shine.
Absolutely.
That's team effort.
Yep.
And that's what this defense is it is not Caleb Downs and nobody else. It is a complete unit where every single week somebody else is stepping up.
If you go back and listen to the post game with K-Mac, he said like the mantra was rush as one for this defensive line. And they had to just fill their lanes as one person. Like one unit had to be strong. And that's exactly what they were. Go back and listen to Caden Curry. He's like, we're a bunch of no names out there. Well, people know your name now, Caden. All right. If they didn't before this game, they do now.
That stat line's unreal.
Yeah.
You're right. If they didn't know who he was before, they know now. And I thought early on, too, my nervousness was coming from the fact that Damon was seeing holes and he was taking advantage of them. They were rolling him out, getting him out of the pocket. And that's the kind of quarterback that's extremely dangerous outside the pocket because you're forcing at least one defender up to protect against the run. And what you're really doing is you're opening up that intermediate passing game, which he was exploiting quite a bit. And I kept saying, okay, how are we going to contain Damon? Because you keep him in the pocket, he's done. How
many total sacks did we have?
6.
6 sacks.
Yeah.
Dude, this defense is unworldly.
And I remember that's something we talked about, at least in the Texas game. I don't think we were upset about it, but we just said it's something we want to keep an eye on because you only saw 1 sack against Texas. Again, similar style quarterback, although Arch can be in the pocket a little bit more. We said that we definitely want to see the growth and progression of the sacks in the TFLs. And, we've seen that. And I'm skipping Grambling, but you go to Ohio game, you had 4 sacks, 7 TFLs. And then yesterday you had 6 sacks, 9 TFLs.
Oh, they definitely rushed as one. They definitely rushed as one, like they were saying. They stayed in their lanes. They protected. Williams had nowhere to go when he tried to get out. Like he had to stay in the pocket and throw it. Rick Neuheisel at half said, hey, just let him throw. If they're keeping him in the pocket, why don't you just let him throw? He can throw the ball. He was like 9 for 10 in the first half or something ridiculous. But he just wasn't taking those shots downfield because he's not really that good. Like I talked about in the pregame show, this was on Wednesday night. He's a one-read quarterback. Like it's got to be quick for him. It's got to be an RPO. It's got to be something where it's getting the ball out of his hands quick. He's not going to scan the field and look.
No, he's not a pocket passer. And again, you look at a quarterback like him that makes those big plays downfield. Oftentimes it's getting outside the pocket. Or to your point, if you see one-on-one coverage and you throw it up, that's a pocket pass, but that's a quick read. Quarterbacks like that make wide receivers more open because they're scrambling out of the pocket. That defense cannot defend for 6-7 seconds. And naturally you are going to find open seams, and a quarterback like him gets it. He's 5'11". Listed as 5'11". So he's probably 5'9.5", 5'10", all seriousness. Quarterbacks like that cannot live in the pocket because they just won't be able to see. They'll get sacked. So the defense did a great job, to your right, rushing as one, but they kind of reduced those running lanes. And you especially saw that in the second half when that pocket was getting collapsed. He was looking for that running lane, and it wasn't there. And that's when he was unable to successfully throw the ball.
I mean, how many rushing yards did he have? You got that up?
-28. Again, that 6 sacks, right? He's going to throw that number off.
Sure. He had that one big rush when it was like 4th down. Yeah, it was 4th down. They went for it on 4th down in the first half, and I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 yards.
He did.
Yeah.
And the blend was
They
well.
look good doing it. It's just, he's going to get his. He's that type of player that he's going to get his every now and then. But our defense really did not let him have as much as he deserved, really. Our defense is just that good. Arvell Reese was spying most of the game, and he kept them in check, along with the defensive line playing their roles. And it says a little bit about the DBs, too. I mean, I know our DBs are great, but I don't think guys were open downfield. I haven't seen the all 22, but I don't think they were open, just based on looking at how he was sitting in the pocket, not being able to find anyone.
I thought Igbenogson played a hell of a game. A couple facets. I thought his coverage was outstanding. A couple times he had one-on-one covered extremely well. Saw him coming up and tackling more. And again, this is something when, again, you're talking about what are you putting on tape to get to the NFL, because you come to Ohio State to get to the NFL. That's what you do. His tackling has taken leaps and bounds this year. I saw him fill a gap. Saw it 20 yards in front of my face, fill a rushing gap and making a great tackle on a running back. Didn't even flinch. And I'll tell you right now, you put those kind of highlights on, tape for the NFL teams, they love that because they need quarters who can tackle. So I have been incredibly impressed with Igbenogson throughout this entire year, both in coverage and in getting his nose dirty and tackling.
Yeah, he's come to another level, right? I mean, he came back for another year for a reason. Oh, now this is interesting. IGB for the Thorpe Award. I mean, this whole defense needs to be nominated for something if they keep up only given 5.5 points per game. That is ridiculously good. We haven't seen that before since like 1937 or 27. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
If this holds up for the year, like I don't think it will. I think it'll approach closer to 10, but we'll still probably have the number one defense as far as scoring defense in the nation.
And they played Texas and Washington in those 4 games.
Correct.
Granted, you played Grambling and Ohio, but it's not like you played a really soft schedule up to this point. So you got at least one exceptional team, one really solid team in there as well too. So this is not an anomaly. And I'll tell you what, if I don't think you're going to hold your opponents to a single-digit average, but if you get into week 8, week 9, and you're still not cracking 10 points, that's the reason you're going to be in games. And that's where Julian Sayin has that ability to start overcoming the play calling, the offense. A lot of these things can overcome that, because when you're in a big road game, a loud road game, and you're only down 3-0, you can keep saying in your head, hey, one drive, one score, we're taking the lead, we'll put our foot on the gas. If that defense was even the defense of 3-4 years ago, that game could have been 13-17-0. And it could have been a whole different outcome. You were there. Those fans were just waiting for something great to happen. And Ohio State's defense refused to let that happen.
I understand that completely. I am 100% on board with that. And I'm glad you started off with defense, to be honest with you. We got to give credit where credit is due. And this defense is the team right now. They are the team.
Absolutely.
And before we get into offense, keep giving the defense as much credit as we can, because I have no idea what's going on offense. Save 2 drives, 3 drives of the game, I have no idea what's going on.
I know. That's all we were talking about yesterday. And it was getting frustrating because it was why is the offense struggling? Why are they doing all these things? What's with the play calling? What's all these things? And after about the 3rd clip you and I said, well, why aren't we talking about the defense? I think we were overlooking the obvious. We're just so used to Ohio State's offense and clicking. And to be honest, we went through a lull for quite a big period of time where our defense was not as good as our offense.
Sure.
And I think you could have made the argument last year the defense was better than the offense, and you're clearly seeing that this year.
The offense just came along later on. I mean, they gelled when it mattered the most. When you get into the playoffs, they came together as a team and found an identity, I think.
Certainly. Yeah.
And I don't think they had that identity before. And
look at those games, Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, right? Yes, the offense was clicking and being pretty effective, but the defense was shutting them out.
Oh,
The only way you get 21, 31-point leads is by both sides of the ball executing.
Sure.
Otherwise, if the other side's not executing, it's a 21-14 game and it's a tight ball game. It doesn't matter what the offense is doing.
And that's why we're at the law we are, because the defense is executing on an elite level and kind of keeping the offense in the game, really.
Yeah. They're keeping the team in the game. Again, if the defense did not do what they did yesterday, I'm telling you what, Washington could have been up 10. They could have been up 17.
Yeah.
And you're making that drive just to try to make it a 10-point game at halftime. Instead, the defense did what they did, and it gave you the chance to make a drive and be up by 4 at halftime. That's the difference.
So Doug Shepard wants to know from the locker room, what team is going to score more than 10 against Ohio State? Well, I know one team that's not, Penn State, after watching them yesterday. I don't think they're scoring more than 10 in Columbus. Minnesota, no. I mean, next week.
I got to say right off the bat, we wake up bright and early this morning. I turn on ESPN, and the headline is Oregon, the best team in the Big Ten.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Serious ESPN?
No,
did you watch that game? That was.
Let them do this. This would
be
music.
You're right. You're right. It's beautiful. If I'm day, I'm taking that headline and I'm putting it everywhere. If anybody who watched that game, that was not a good football game. That was two average teams. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I was talking to you too much last night and I missed something there, but I did not see anything from either of those teams that scared me one bit.
Well, I mean, you go into that ruckus environment. We all know that Penn State is just different playing there. It's just different, right? The whiteout is different. Oregon's never experienced it. It is going all the way across the country for Oregon, going to Penn State, almost the furthest they can go to. Not quite, but almost. So 100 and what do they have? 110,000?
107. I think there's.
We don't have to be precise. Who cares? But
it's
there's a lot of
105 and 110.
Yeah,
somewhere.
There's a lot of people there. All right, and they are all ruckus. I mean, that the stands for a whiteout are absolutely wonderful to see. I mean, if an opposing fanatic can tell you that it's awesome to go to that environment. So I give credit to Oregon.
They win in pageantry. That's cute, man. It's about what you do on the field, and you know what? They don't really feed off it throughout the entire game. I mean, there's games you and I can talk about where, it's ruckus, it's rough in the first half. From what I recall, they seem to kind of fade in the second half, by and large. And they did that. Well, it was a little bit of a reverse yesterday. I guess they were down 17-3. But, I mean, the whiteouts are only good if you win them consistently. And if you play top 10 teams in your house and you win. Again, I think Penn State is going back to how maybe Ohio State felt 10 years ago, where we felt like we couldn't win the big game. Whether it was home or on the road, we had that feeling. And that's where, all kidding aside, I know we chuckled last night, like, who would they get? You really, as a Penn State fan, had to start asking yourself, do we have the right coach in place to do this? Because it is a culture now. It is a mindset that this organization does not feel like they can win a big game.
Oh, absolutely not. The fan base doesn't. I mean, they're saying fire Franklin, chanting it.
They should.
I don't know how we're getting
all kidding aside, they should. He's clearly demonstrated that he cannot win the big game. 4-21 against top 10 teams.
Who are they going after? Signetti?
God, no. I mean,
dude, Signetti's actually. I mean, that's a good hire anywhere. I think. I don't think Indiana's letting them get away, but Indiana.
I mean, the only thing I can say about Signetti is his delusional arrogance really does permeate through his teams, and
I don't think it's delusional.
You got to really prove it, man. You got to really prove it.
I mean, when you come into the league at Indiana and you say, and he said, screw Purdue. And then he said, and Michigan and Ohio State too. That was a little overboard. But, he's riling up his fan base. He's doing what he needs to. He's building, a brand and starting over from scratch, basically, with a brand new team every year. Now they're recruiting well. I think Indiana's going to be a force to reckon with.
Yeah, but now it's that next step.
Mm-hmm.
We thought Illinois was good. We'll see if Illinois is still good. I think they're a solid team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were a top 10 team. But
Maybe.
Indiana is going to have to beat a big dog at some point. And this isn't, we can make fun of Michigan. I don't have to preface that. Michigan was an 8-5 team last year.
Yeah.
So, it's not, or maybe 9-4. I'm sorry. I don't know off the top of my head. So that win last year wasn't this elite team of the past. So, and then the two big games Indiana played last year, Ohio State and Notre Dame, they got obliterated.
Yeah, but it was the two teams in the national title game.
Yeah.
And it's Indiana. So I'll give them credit. Let's move on from Indiana and Penn State because you know what? Who cares?
True.
What more do we have to say about this defense? Like Matt Patricia.
Well, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk offense, man. So we're good on the defensive side.
Did you give them all the credit that they deserve?
We led off with them. I had to tell you we needed to lead off with the defense for finally the fourth week.
You're right. You're absolutely right. We needed to lead off with them. I'm going to go right into this in the offense because I think we've talked about it ad nauseum. But then Day agreed with it in his post-game conference. He said, we got to find ways to be more explosive, and we're going to work on that this week. You had a bye week to work on that. To me, this is what it seems like. And we came out with the win. It seemed like they were playing with their food before they ate it. They were just toying around. They came out throwing it to Jeremiah Smith to open up the game. And they're like, oh, we know we can do this. Let's see if we can pound the ball down their throat now. And they were doing well, just not well enough to score, right? Their average yards per carry was great. I think in the first half it was like 6 yards per carry. But then they weren't getting touchdowns. They weren't scoring points. And that's what counts. And everything was backwards. I think Ryan Day says he doesn't do a script. It looked like in the second half he had a script made at halftime. He needs a script. That's the problem. You need to run plays, be confident in those plays, and know what you want to do. I feel like they didn't have a game plan at all. Like nothing. Like we're better than this team. We'll call whatever plays we want. That's what it felt like.
No, it felt like it's going to be a loud environment. They were pumping in noise all week. Everybody knows it. It's a loud place to play. It's a road game. And
what better way to silence the crowd than go down and score with first-round wide receivers?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm telling you what their rationale was is, hey, let's keep the play calling simple. Let's run the football. Let's sustain a drive. Let's see what we can do.
That's what they did.
No, I disagree with it. I'm just telling you what that looked like.
That's exactly what they did in the second half. They just did it with the right mentality. Like we're going to run short passes. We're going to get our playmakers the ball, and we're going to mix in Bo Jackson because he's a beast. So then you come up with your second string running back, obviously, is running the ball to start the game, number one. And number two, you give the ball to Jeremiah Smith 3 times in the first half. He gets it. I think it was 2 times in the first possession and then never again until the end of the half.
Yeah.
That's asinine. That doesn't make any sense. That's
well, hold on.
I can't even put my head around that. Like you're trying.
I think we got to go back to the first drive, right? So this is where I was telling everybody my fear was UW wins the toss. They go down the field, score. You get this crowd just electric. And again, I got to stop worrying about that now. Defense is elite. So I'm not worried about that. I'll lead with my defense every single time. Yeah. But anyway, they forced the 3 and out. Yeah. Ohio State gets the ball. Ohio State drives down the field. You got 4th and 1 at the 5, and you hand off to Donaldson. Can we stop? Yeah. Can we stop Donaldson?
Remember last week?
Yeah, I know. I asked you the same question.
You asked me on 4th and 1, who do I want to have the ball on the goal line? I was like, Bo Jackson, easily. He runs through people. He cares, and he has that mentality that I'm going to score, I'm going to get ahead of you no matter what. Without even thinking about it, he has that mentality.
Something's up. Okay, we barely saw Peoples yesterday. You saw Donaldson start the game. You saw Donaldson get a lot more stuff. Again, I must be missing something with Donaldson because nothing I see is spectacular.
No.
I see a very average running back, even out in the flat catching the touchdown pass, 40 running
wide
backs.
open.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing unique about that.
No.
And again, 4th and 1 at the 5. It should have been Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson's getting you that yard. And the reason I say that is that was bad coaching. That was bad coaching because if you score right there, you force their best unit 3 and out. You march down the field. You score a touchdown. You have now set the tone. You've now taken the air out of that stadium already with just 2 possessions total. And instead, you made a bad play call and you kept that team in the game for 3 quarters.
And I felt like that was the whole first half, minus the last drive. I mean, in the last drive, they decided to open it up, pass a little bit more. They decided to have Bo Jackson run the ball a few times.
But I'll also say that too. You just timed it well. UW brought a blitz. There's no way Sayin checked out of that to that play call. That was an established play call.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if they had dropped 7 or 8 back, that's not a touchdown at all. You timed it perfectly with the UW blitz. Nothing wrong with blitzing there. Just one of those, hey, somebody made a better call than you.
That was a tendency. If you listen to Sayin after the game, he said we kind of knew the blitz was coming. Or I think actually he didn't even say kind of. He said we knew the blitz was coming. So they knew exactly what they were calling.
You telling me he checked out of whatever play call to that?
No, I don't think he did. I think that the offensive staff knew a blitz was coming based on tendencies.
Sure. You're playing the stats. You're playing the odds.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Doesn't mean maybe 70% of the time I'm making that up. Maybe 70% of the time they do blitz in that situation. And you're saying, hey, probably they're going to do it. Let's call this. What if it's one of those 30%?
Yeah,
right.
We'll take the odds. Let's go for it.
You take the odds, and they do, and they did. Doesn't mean it's always going to work. So that's where that fortuitous play call on the defensive side allowed for that play to be extremely effective. And Jeremiah Smith, of course, helps with all that. But you're right. Short of that happening, you could have been down 3-0 at halftime or tied 3-3 at halftime, to be honest with you. And who knows, because they were using their timeouts there. They could have went down the field and scored 2. And
again, back to the point, Bo Jackson had the most carries of the game, right?
Yes, 17.
And Donaldson had
9.
9.
I get it.
What, Are you trying to, is this just trying to keep him from transferring? Unless Bo's putting the ball on the ground in practice, just play to your strengths. This is all common sense stuff.
Well, what do you think about this? He is a true freshman, right? Is it one of these things where you say you've done good, kid?
No.
But you got to earn your stripes?
No. You didn't do that with Jeremiah Smith. When they're that good, they get on the field.
Agreed. I'm just asking the question.
No,
you're at the practice.
Stripes are earned.
I think he's earning it. And you
already did.
Coach could counter and say, yeah, he led the team in carries. He had 17. My counter would be, why the hell is he not in there on the first drive?
Yeah. Why aren't we putting these teams they don't have nearly the amount of talent, nearly the amount of depth to hang with us? We're keeping them in the game based on our play calling. And like I said, to me, this is what it looked like. All right, we know we can get Jeremiah Smith the ball when we want to, so we're going to try something different. Because they did. They got him the first down to start the game, that first drive.
I mean, I'll say this. It's a silly comparison, but I think it rings true. When you play the college football video game, there are swings, there are momentums, there are drives. There's a lot of, obviously, components that they put into the game. And I'll say this. I like to establish the run. That's my always mentality. I think it's fun to run the football. I do it a lot. You realize in big games, they start stopping you, and then the other team scores. You've had that momentum shift. And so I've actually switched how I play the game, especially at that Heisman level, to I actually come out throwing quite a bit first. Because what you want to do is you want to get that lead, and the game actually shifts that momentum, and it makes the gameplay a little bit easier. And as silly as all that sounds, that's how you need to translate to what you're doing here. You start jumping out to 7, 10, 14 nothing leads. That demoralizes teams.
For sure.
especially on the road.
And we easily could have done that with using the pass to set up the run. This is exactly what I said on Wednesday night show. And I think everyone else agreed. If you listen to the commentators at all, they're like, they haven't thrown a pass down the field. They got the best percentage in long balls in the country. And they're just not incorporating it.
How many deep balls were thrown yesterday by Ohio State?
Zero.
I've told you this. I would have Graham, I'd have Rogers, I'd have somebody every single play running deep.
Yeah.
Running deep. I don't even care if you throw to them or not. I want you perpetually stretching that field, because where Ohio State's offense, Ryan Day's offense thrives is the intermediate.
Yep.
The intermediate passing game. And I know
great. We didn't even do that.
Yeah, but we talked about this in the Ohio game, and it's looking like it's going to ring true. He is looking to have Sayin throw those deeper balls off play action. And the only way you can do play action is running the football. So I'm thinking they're looking to establish the run, because if they establish a run, they can do play action. But here's the thing.
This isn't Wisconsin from the early 2000s. That's not the team we have.
I agree. I think you need to start going out there and saying, we're going to put 3 or 4 weapons out there and saying, grip it and rip it.
Yeah. Have to.
And maybe Day's drilling in his head like no interceptions, and the kid's gun shy. I don't know.
Yeah. They're just not calling the plays that they need to call. I agree with you. I mean, actually hearing you say that they're wanting the play action, that makes sense. It makes perfect sense. That's something that can translate in my head, that's what they're trying to establish, and they want to take that deep shot. They're not getting the run game established enough, though.
Yeah, they're not
taking that shot.
Go look at the Ohio game. The 2 deep balls thrown to Tate and Smith, play action. Play action. They weren't normal 5-7 step drops.
They did try a play action pass once or twice, I believe, but nothing deep.
They were definitely doing it more in the second half, but the play action was, to your point, it may have been play action to like a bubble screen to Smith, or play action to something average. There was nothing. I never truly saw them stretch the field. And I want to be clear, we were there. They were trying to stretch the field.
Yeah.
Sayin was not stretching the field.
Correct.
There's a big difference there.
Well, I mean, when you see Jeremiah Smith one-on-one on the wide side of the field, Sayin didn't even look to the right. I want to say at least 80% of the game. It was quick left, and that's it.
I don't know, because again, as they were driving towards the west end zone, where the visitor stands are, you driving that way to the west end zone. This was the first half. There was one-on-one. I talked to you about this. There was one-on-one on Smith right in front of my face.
Yeah.
You had the safety almost on the other hash because you had trips to the right. And
you looked left the entire time.
Screaming. Thank heavens there were Buckeye fans around me. We were all screaming, throw it up to Smith. Throw it up to Smith. It was one-on-one. Everybody could see it. What does he do? Look right. Didn't do anything.
No. His vantage point was to the right with Smith. He looked left.
No, I'm saying this play he wasn't. I know, because they were driving towards the west end zone. Maybe this is one of the few plays he just didn't look left, which is
towards the water.
No, west end zone's the opposite way. Towards the water is east.
Got it. All right.
Opposite way. So where we were sitting, because they were driving that way in Ohio State's bench, that's where all of us were pretty much at, driving west. So he didn't. And that's where anytime I'm saying, and I look over and I see one-on-one coverage with the safety nowhere near it, I'm going to take my chance every single time. They should have an automatic kill, check out, throw it to him, because I will take my odds on that play every single time. You're going to win it 75% of the time.
All right. Jeff Rhodes, I agree partially. You don't need to take chances. The defense was controlling UW's offense. At some point, that's going to backfire. If you play with fire, you're going to get burnt. And if you get burnt on an away game like that, you are going to have a hard time getting back into it. You play to get the best players on the field the ball. Period. End of story. Otherwise, it makes zero sense. There's a reason why there's an old adage that says it's all about the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. Well, in our case, it's the Calebs and the Jeremiahs, and they need the ball in their hands.
They do. And that's where you cannot continue to say, oh, I can call 3 running plays and punt. I'll rely on my defense. Let's go back to the Michigan game last year, everybody. What was it? Run for nothing on first down, run for 1 yard on second down, incomplete pass on third down, punt. How did that game go?
And guess what? This is just completely backwards. Close your eyes, everyone, and picture a team that has somewhere around the 62nd best pass defense in the country. This team also would have the 9th best run defense in the country. What do you need to do in that situation? Do you want to run it against them? Does that make a lot of sense? No. Common sense has gone out the window.
I think he's so
ingrained in what he wants to do. It's that he
wants to run the pass. He wants to run the pass. He wants to do the play action. He wants to make sure that they know.
You don't need a trick. You attack the weak points of the team. Every team you play. That's what Matt Patricia's doing. He attacks the weakest part of the offense. We need to attack the weakest part of the defense. And in that case, it was the 62nd in the nation pass defense. And when we did start passing it, that's when we scored. Imagine that. You could have done that from the get-go. Even if it's short passes, I'm fine with that. Those short passes starting, go back and watch that drive in the third quarter, the opening drive of the third quarter. If you do that all game, it's 35-0.
Yeah. Well, that's where I think we're trying to blend everything you're saying with the concept that you and I and our buddies talked about quite a bit yesterday, with the fact that maybe there is a mindset shift with this coaching staff when you look at the bigger picture of college football. And what you mean by that is you're no longer playing 13, maybe 14 games in a season. Mm-hmm. If you want to get to where you want to go, you're playing anywhere between 16 and 17. And maybe Coach Day has been looking at the offense as a progression where maybe they're only using 30% of the playbook right now. This is all theoretical. It's all speculation. Mm-hmm. I have no idea. But maybe he's looking at this and saying, hey, I'm looking at these games after Texas to just slowly integrate new formations, new concepts, new styles. I want to put a lot of different things on tape, but just the beginning stages of those, because I know I'm going to have some real creativity in December and January in order to execute the way we did last year. I'm speculating, but what's your opinion on that?
I have a complete opposite opinion of that, but I want to touch on this with Doug because it kind of is related. So Doug says you guys sound like you lost.
They did, because we have a standard at Ohio State. We have a standard, and they didn't play to that standard.
Correct. That's exactly what I was going to get at. It's hard when you have the best weapons on the field and you don't utilize them. That's hard. That's hard to watch. When football is something that you love to watch and you love the chess game, it's really hard when you don't play the moves that are available to you to sit back and say that, well, that's awesome. We got away with the W. Getting away with the W sometimes backfires in the long term because they need this team set up for what they want their identity to be by the time the playoff rolls around. And the second point to that is, if it's a long season, if it's 17 games for the season, 17 games, right? More reason to wax this team that you can wax easily. Get your reserves in, get your players rested, and get them experience if they have to take over later in the season.
But this is where that mindset shift of it's feeling a little bit more like the NFL than it is college. You go back even 5-10 years ago.
But the NFL doesn't want to beat teams.
You just don't see it. You just
you
don't
see it because the talent's equated.
Yes, and I understand that. But that's where
we have a draft. We have the best players on the field. One, the starters, at the backups, and at the backups, third on the depth chart. Better than everyone on Washington's team. I mean, yes, they have a few players that could play at Ohio State.
Oh, Washington's got some talent. I'm not going to say they're.
I'm not going to say that they don't have talent.
They have some talent. They have NFL draft picks on that.
Yes, absolutely. But across the board, they just don't match up. And we didn't use our matchups on offense. Defense, Doug, I get it. We got away with a W. We went out, got a road win. We're coming back home. That's awesome.
We didn't get away. Yeah. I mean, the defense played the way the defense played. The defense won the game.
The defense won the game.
You move on.
My concern is, are they going to win every game for us? I don't know about that. We'll see.
And Doug, I would say the reason we're talking about this is, again, that Michigan game was not that far ago. What we saw in that Michigan game was conservative play calling.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I don't want to put my quarterback in positions to throw the ball in the intermediate or deep. I'm not going to take those shots. You saw that tentative play calling, and it kept the game closer than it should have been. Mm-hmm. What we want to see is Ryan Day break that mold of saying, this is a big game. It's a road game. It's a tough game. It's a weather game. I want to see him say, screw it. We're going to air it out because our weapons are better than your defense. We have not seen that mentality shift yet.
Mm-hmm.
In the regular season, let's clarify the playoffs. We saw everything we wanted and more. In Tennessee and Oregon, we were so surprised by it because they hadn't done that before.
Mm-hmm.
They hadn't come out in a big game and just started airing it out like they did in Tennessee and Oregon. And it almost felt like those games were, well, Ryan Day had nothing to lose. Well, maybe he needs to get that mentality back.
I think it's going to take a loss before he gets that mentality back. Are we going to have a loss? I don't know. If we play like this against a team that's as good, almost as good as us, close to as good as us, or if we play this way against Michigan, you lose this game.
Oh, this year? Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why we want to be prepared. That's why we're a little bit heartbroken at the play calling. All right. As long as it develops over time, I'm fine with that. But it needs to start developing quick. Because you said it best. It's time to take the training wheels off. All right. Got it against Texas. Made perfect sense. First start, get the jitters out. Let's go. Now you're into the Big Ten schedule. It's time to stop messing around. It's time to stop playing with your food. And time to take those shots. Take the training wheels off. Let Sayin run the offense. Washington does deserve to be a ranked team. The problem is, and I agree with you, this is a solid Washington team. And they played hard. It's just Ohio State could have done better. We hold Ohio State to a higher standard because that's what Ohio State is. And they should always be held to a higher standard. If you're the number one ranked team in the nation and you can't get your best player the ball, you don't think other teams are getting their best player the ball? 3 targets in the first half to a generational wide receiver. You got to make up something to get him the ball. I'm sorry, that's just nonsense. That's not trying. That's zero effort.
I mean, too, even Tate, to be honest with you, ended 3 of
One.
3.
One
I mean, we're all joking in the bar last night on how Tate's first round talent. He's a first round wide receiver talent, and he's almost like a forgotten player on that field, which is insane. So again, that's where even if you're seeing that double team on Jeremiah or you're seeing that safety over the top with Jeremiah, why aren't we getting Tate 6-8 catches a game? That's what doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I think it's just because we're not willing to pass the ball enough. For what it
because
takes.
I think he is so focused on establishing the run in order to utilize the play action off the run.
Doug just wants to sit back and be happy with the win, man. I'm sorry. Sorry, Doug.
We should. And again, believe it or not, Doug, I actually was the one yesterday saying just win. Just win in the regular season. We saw that last year. Season doesn't really start until mid-December anyways. So you just go to these games, especially tough road games, and you have to start having that NFL mentality. In the NFL, nobody gives a damn how you win. They don't care if you win 6-3. Just win the game, move on with your week. Nobody cares about style points. That is kind of the mentality you're starting to see with Ohio State, where, hey, we got 12 games. Win as many of them as you can, get to the playoffs, set yourself up in a position to achieve the ultimate goal. And that's maybe what you're starting to see here.
Maybe. I'm not saying that we need style points. I'm just saying we need common sense. We're overlooking things. We're diving deep too much into our brains, and we just need to get back to the basics of football. The basics are get good players the ball. It's that simple. It's not complicated. This is football. This is a game we play in our backyard. And if you're playing it in the backyard with your best friends, who are you giving the ball to? The one that can take it to the house every time. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. And yes, should we be happy about the win? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. A win is a win is a win. Great. But we still need to improve. We still need to get better. Ryan Day said it himself. He said, I'm going to be sick when I go back and look at that first quarter. Yeah. Well, plan to play the first quarter like you play the third. Don't make adjustments at halftime. Make them during the game.
But I'll also say this too. You put the right personnel in on 4th and 1 at the 5, i.e.
And you can start pounding it.
But that's what I'm saying is you made a personnel mistake. Donaldson is not going to get you that first down. He has not proven that at all. Put Bo Jackson in, get that first down, 1st and goal at the 4, at the 3, something like that, and then go score a touchdown. And this is a completely different conversation today.
I will say that linebacker made a great play. Made an absolute great play.
Okay. Yeah. Donaldson, you're a Buckeye. Make a better play.
That's true. I like that.
That's again, we're not going to sit here. This is not going to be a show where we're going to talk about wins and talk about how great they are. Yeah. This is something we want to see, a progression of this team. And everybody that we talked to at halftime yesterday described that first half like watching the Michigan game. Because we still have PTSD from that Michigan game.
Go back and watch the commentators at half. They're thinking, what the hell are they doing too? It was no different than the commentators at the halftime at the Michigan game. You're playing into the strengths of the defense. I think someone said it on the CBS halftime report. You're playing into the strengths of this defense. Exactly the same thing they tried to do against Michigan. This is, you're getting bullheaded. You got to open up your mind and just think football. It's easy. Like if you get stuck in your ways, sometimes you make the wrong calls and you make the wrong game plan. You gotta play what the defense gives you.
And that's where I'm curious with not just the play calling and the personnel. This could be something where Coach Day says, okay, this is what I want to execute.
Doug. All right, good.
No, I love it, Doug. You gave us that opening because, again, we always want to position ourselves. Steve and I want to position ourselves to say Ohio State's elite, and we're going to hold them to that elite standard, and we're not going to sit here and throw bouquets for an offense that is absolutely not clicking. I mean, it's why I had to yell at Steve at 6 a.m. this morning. We're talking defense first because that is a unit of this team that needs to get the bouquets thrown at them. They're unreal. Offense is just they've got to figure it out. Or again, maybe Ryan Day's a genius and he's saying, listen, you've seen 30% of what we're really capable of, and that's by design. And I don't care if I lose one game because that's the beauty, again, of this new system, that you're looking at this over a 5-month odyssey. You don't have to sweat bullets every single week.
I think you're going to have defenses sweating bullets if you show what you got right away, because there's no way to stop this offense with the wide receivers and the tight ends that they have. Zero.
But the only way you're going to achieve that is
and then with Bo Jackson on top of it. But let's give Sayin credit, though. He was precise again. Very, very precise. 22 of 28. 200 and how many yards and 2 touchdowns?
208.
What's
2
that
touchdowns.
QBR quarterback rating?
88.9.
Why is that low? I mean, I guess that's high enough.
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't understand QBR, but you're talking 79% completion percentage. But again, I never felt like he threw the ball further than 8 yards. So I don't get all excited about completion percentage. Yeah, but I mean, this is again where Ryan Day's strength really is that intermediate game, the mesh routes, those concepts, to making sure that you're doing all these different things, and you're just not seeing. Maybe he's not comfortable with saying doing it. I don't know.
I'm not sure yet either. It seems like he should be. I will say that I am very, very pleased, even though some people didn't like the runs and the quick runs that Sayin made. It was like one read and then run. I'm okay with that. I want to see a few runs out of the quarterback every game just to keep the defense honest. I was happy to see that, actually. And that one where he almost got the first down, that was awesome. What an awesome play. What a great run. Way to pull it down and take off and take what the defense gives you. Those are those easy plays that you really stress a defense when you do that. And you're seeing Sayin can move when he wants to, when he needs to. And it was awesome to see. I wouldn't mind more of that. Get out of bounds when you need to, take a knee or slide when you need to too.
No, it's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up because the quarterback, again, when it's 3rd and 4, and the defense does not fear you running the ball, that's advantage defense. But if Sayin now is saying to himself, hey, on 3rd and 4, I'll go get you 6 yards. And that's all you need there.
Yep.
That now puts an additional strain on the defense. The problem I was starting to see yesterday, and I can't believe I'm saying it about Sayin, was it looked like he was one read and run. Which is not what you want either. That is not the type of quarterback he is. That's Damon Williams. That's Bowman. That's those kind of quarterbacks where they're one read run, and then maybe I stay back in the behind the line of scrimmage.
He was getting a little bit of pressure they probably shouldn't have got. I was okay with it. He seemed like he was ready to get it, and it wasn't all the time. Like if it was constant, I might be a little critical of that, but I was okay with what he did as far as the running.
Oh, I agree. I'm glad he's putting that on film now. But again, what we want to monitor is this one read and run in the future, because that is not who he is, and that's not what we want. I want you going 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, then out of the pocket running.
Yeah. You have to have time to do that. And as a young quarterback, I get that time clock's a little rushed in his head. That makes sense to me.
Dude, you've played Texas, and you just went to a top 20, I would say, hostile environment.
Oh, speaking of that 22-game home win streak, gone.
I think we
Ohio
said
State
that.
loves to break stuff like that. They broke Clemson. They broke Miami. They broke Washington Huskies 22-game home win streak. Love it.
And broke Georgia.
I love being part of those. I love that Ohio State's part of that.
What'd you think, man? That's a stadium I've been going to a lot the last 10 years. What'd you think of the stadium, man? Noise,
beautiful. Beautiful. I didn't think it was half as loud as I was expecting.
What would you say the breakdown? I would say 75-25.
Yeah, and that might have been part of it. I would give them 30%, maybe. Somewhere between 25 and 35% of the stadium. I think it was about equivalent to what Tennessee brought to Ohio Stadium.
Maybe.
So, I mean, and this is all the way across the country. And man, out on those boats, there were a lot of Buckeyes out on those boats. That was awesome. That is something. Don't pass up the opportunity to do that if you get it.
I thought it was loud pretty early on. I'll say that. At least
early on, yes.
Drive, it was pretty loud. I thought they handled it well.
Mm-hmm. And there were points where it was loud. It was just, it wasn't, and maybe because it wasn't a night game, I don't know. It was a nooner basically for them.
Yeah, it's 12:30 game.
Yeah. I don't know
I
if that
think
makes
they
a
showed
difference.
up.
Huh?
Night's pretty loud, I will
Yeah.
say, and they do some pretty cool stuff with their lights there too, and,
I mean,
and everything. But
Ohio Stadium's different at night too. There's just a different vibe.
it is. I actually like those middle of the day games. It's funny because we don't think of 12:30 as normal out here. 12:30 is like middle of the day
Yeah,
because that's just there's already one wave of games that have gone
for
on.
sure.
So
Yeah.
we kind of look at 12:30 as like, hey, we've been up since 6:37 anyways.
Yep.
So it was different. I thought it was pretty loud. Again, I've been there some big games against Michigan, against Oregon. Those games were pretty loud too. The Michigan game was a night game last year, and I'll say that was a pretty intense crowd last year. But you saw a lot of red. You saw a lot of scarlet up on the home stands, upper deck. Obviously, we had a lot on the visitor side, but I thought UW fans showed out pretty well too. But it didn't affect the game, at least in the first half. I actually don't think the first false start occurred until the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought Ohio State handled that pretty well.
I like that Ryan Day said games are won in the middle 8, and they did win the middle 8, that last possession, the first possession. But I also think you include the first possession of the game in that as far as a momentum builder that sets the tone. That's where I'd like to see a difference with Ryan Day's offense. That first possession is an emotional possession. It sets the tone for how your team's going to respond the rest of the game, or how their team's going to respond for the rest of the game, particularly on the road. Like if you want to take a hostile environment out, the easiest way to do that is you go down and score, and then you stop them.
Yes.
We stopped them. They shanked a punt. Like this, my mindset is if you shank a punt, that's like a turnover. You take a deep shot immediately, first down.
I agree, and you made that point. I thought it was a great point.
You know how like it would have been so deflated in there. Ohio State would have gone away emotionally. They would have had the crowd out of it and half of the players.
They would have, because we were talking before the game, a little bit of nervousness, right? First road test, tough environment, tough place to travel to. My fear was this team starts out sluggish and UW gets some things in place. And now you kept this crowd in it. They think they're going to win. They think they're going to beat the number 1 team in the country and rush the field. That kind of psychology and emotion, the teams feed on that stuff. So the longer you kept UW in this game, the worse it was going to be for Ohio State. You had a chance to take the wind out of it right away. You went 3 and out, shank punt, you drove the ball down the field. You had your chance to put them away. And instead, you couldn't put them away till the third quarter. That's your original point of playing with your food. That's playing with your food.
Yeah. They're like tossing it up like, oh, we can give it to Jeremiah Smith whenever we want. We can run it with Bo Jackson whenever we want. So we're just going to
run with Bo Jackson when Donaldson's in the backfield.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he was in the backfield that entire first drive.
Yeah. He's getting the start for some reason. I don't really know what it is.
I mean, honestly, that's what you got to keep your ear to the ground too.
Keep him around for next year because he's available next year.
And again, I think maybe this is one of these things where in last year it taught us this extremely well. Look at the entire year, entire body of work before we critically evaluate anything. Maybe this is something where he's saying, hey, I don't want to put a lot of tread on his tires. And I don't mind getting Donaldson and Peoples the ball throughout the majority of the season, because where I need Bo Jackson is November, December, and January.
Yeah.
Maybe. And that's where we can look back. Maybe we're talking here late January again, and we're saying, wow, the last 6 games of the season, we saw 70% of the time Bo Jackson was on the field. Bo Jackson was your bell cow. We can look back at this one here on September 28th and laugh at what we're saying. Who knows?
Yeah. I hope it's that deep. But again, I go back to You dominate, you rest. You get the backups in, you get experience. That's preferable in my eyes. If you have a different approach, obviously it's worked with Ryan Day in the past. He's got that national title. Let him do what he wants to do. This is just my opinion. You dominate a team, you get the best players on the team, the ball, and you take your bags and you go home with a W, a big W.
Yeah.
But hey, they won. Got to give credit where credit is due. We got that victory. Best thing about being 4-0 is a chance to go 5-0, right?
And again, I think we're only in year 2 of this 12-team playoff. And I had to convince you all last year that this 12-team playoff is now a mindset mentality shift in college football, right? The one loss doesn't doom you. The second loss doesn't doom you. That is fundamentally different than everything we ever thought about college football for 120 years, where one loss, you were done. You were basically done, depending on unless there was some chaos or craziness. But by and large, with the BCS and 14 playoff, you felt like you were done. You couldn't lose a game like this. That's no longer the case at all. And so I think these coaches, especially the Georgias, the Miamis, Ohio States, all these teams are looking at this as a 16, 17 game marathon, as opposed to, oh my God, I got to win every single week and I've got to win by 50 because I need style points in case I lose that I can go slam in front of the committee. Style points might be dead. And pressure of every game might be dead. Thank heavens. I love it.
I think style points are dead. If you win, you win. We're good.
Yeah, that's an NFL mentality, man. Again, nobody cares how much you win by in the NFL.
I just want a developed offense that supports a elite defense. That's what my goal is.
I agree, but I think you look at any good offensive coach, and they'll tell you flat out that their offensive playbook is a progression. It is not, I'm going to throw my plays at you here. It's, I'm going to throw formations and concepts week 1, week 2, week 3, and then I'm going to build off those formations and concepts, and then I'm going to do something completely different based on those formations and concepts. So that's where I think we have to see a few years of Ryan Day in this 12-team playoff and truly see, okay, we're not going to see a lot of fireworks weeks 1 through 6. That's going to be his new mentality. Maybe he's trying to build a really deep playbook, and that takes 3 months to develop, in which case then kudos to him.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
He did it last year, man.
He did it last year based on necessity, a loss, 2 losses.
True.
And a loss will creep up to you. You get 2 losses in Columbus, 4 straight to Michigan. They play like this, they lose to Michigan for the 5th time in a row. And other people are saying this, like the Duck fans and everyone are like, I'm not afraid of this offense. Saying's not that good.
It's funny. I was saying the same thing about Oregon yesterday.
Yeah. And it's all because it's just a use. Like, he is good. He's great. It's time to take the training wheels off. Let's talk about some of the other teams, all right? What happens? Do you, if you take your Buckeye fan card away from you, take away your diploma off the wall?
No.
Does Oregon deserve to be in consideration for one?
No. And again, this is going to be that age-old argument, right? What's the ranking at the time versus what they're ranked currently?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think Texas is one of those eerily similar to Ohio State, where they have an elite defense. They have a talented quarterback that it still looks like they're developing. You've got very smart offensive coaches that maybe are conservative with their quarterbacks right now, haven't taken those training wheels off. I still think Texas is one of the best teams in the country. I think that will play itself out again, December and January. We're all hyped up. It's still September.
Yeah.
It's still September.
Not
And I
for
say
long.
that to say that I still think that's one of the best wins this year.
Yes.
I look at Penn State. We had the jokes flowing last night at the bar talking about it. But at the end of the day, quit telling me Penn State's elite. They're not elite. They're 4-21 in their last 25 games against top 10 opponents.
They just win the games they're supposed to.
Okay, that's not elite. That's good.
Yeah.
It makes
They're
you a
good.
good football team.
They're
When
good.
you beat Boise State and SMU, and you want to tout your chest that you're in the Final Four. No, you're not. That's not special. That was just bad rankings.
It was set up by the playoff committee. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've already rectified that. In 1 year, they've already rectified that. It wouldn't happen again this year. Penn State cannot beat the elite teams. And to take it a step further, they can't even beat the elite teams at home in their so-called whiteout. That's supposed to be this hostile environment. Oregon traveled across the country. Our buddy, PA guy was telling us, you fly to Pittsburgh, you still got to drive 3 hours there. Not an easy place to get to. They went out there and they beat them. And they beat them.
There is I think the teams usually land there. There's a small airport.
Well, yeah, the team itself, but I'm talking the fan base and all
the fans,
stuff like that.
They have to land in Pittsburgh and just drive 3 hours to the game.
But I say all that to say, I don't know if Penn State is good on defense. They told me they're good on offense. You have not seen the growth and maturation of Drew Auer or the development on the offensive side of the ball. Penn State's always been great on defense.
They can't say they don't have receivers because they brought in 2 wide receivers. I think 3 wide receivers, one from Troy, one from Syracuse, and one from USC, Kyron Hudson.
Yeah, but that offense doesn't scare me. And I'll take it a step further. Oregon's offense doesn't scare me. I mean, last year they were potent. They were scary. Dylan Gabriel was a seasoned veteran. He knew what he was doing. Again, that's what made that Rose Bowl so incredible was the confusion in the spying of the defense on Gabriel, because that was a high-powered offense last year. I'm not seeing that. Okay, you beat Oklahoma State. You beat Oregon State. I didn't see it a lot. What's that?
Beat Northwestern. Don't forget about them.
Oh, yeah. But that even wasn't as close as I thought it would be. But
it was closer than you thought it would be. Yeah.
I don't know. Let's go see in Indianapolis, Ohio State, Oregon. We'll see who has a better squad there. But no, I don't think Oregon is better than Ohio State. I certainly don't think Penn State belongs in the discussion anymore. In fact,
what about Ole Miss?
No.
Being 4-0.
5-0.
5-0. Yeah, where do they rank in your brain?
It's Lane Kiffin. He'll blow it somewhere.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't watched much of them, so I just was surprised that they won, to be honest with you.
But this is, again, I know we talked to the LSU guy before the season. I keep remembering that conversation because I asked him flat out, if LSU goes 9-3, does Brian Kelly keep his job? And he said yes. And I kept saying, well, that's not an elite program. I don't. This is where Ryan Day separated himself last year in the sense of a coach that finds a way to win. And I think Kirby Smart, kind of put himself in that same category as well. But now you're starting to see in college football, talent does matter, but I'm really looking at the coaching more often than not. And is the coaching going to get you there? Because I think there are a lot of teams with a lot of talent. It's the coaching that you have to worry about. And I'm not seeing a lot of elite coaching.
We'll see it. We'll see as the season goes on. Indiana came out with a good win, and at the end of the game against Iowa, Illinois came back in it. Wow, that was an exciting last couple minutes of the game.
That really was. It really was.
Are you giving Illinois credit for that USC win as a ranked win?
Again,
hard to tell.
Everybody keeps telling me USC is good and Lincoln Riley is good. but the stats don't back up those statements.
Yeah.
Every year they tell me Lincoln Riley's great. USC is going to be ranked. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen it. And again, I haven't seen USC perform well in the Big Ten yet. Now, granted, small sample size, but prove to me that you can win in the Big Ten, and then I'll start listening to you.
Who are those elite teams from other conferences? So that if Florida State got knocked off, Miami.
I think Miami's playing at a really high level.
Mm-hmm.
They've beaten Notre Dame, and again, say what you want about Notre Dame. Notre Dame started out with a really tough schedule, and that's fine. You went 0-2. I get it. It's not like they played Northern Illinois or anything like that. But I think Miami has always recruited well, has always had the talent. They've never been able to put it together. But again, going back to coaching, you trust Cristobal?
Trust him to not take a knee.
There are a few guarantees in life. That's one of them.
And then across the Big 12, Texas Tech, Iowa State.
Interesting team. Yeah.
Do you give either of those teams any credit to be a player in the college football playoffs if they make it?
I think what's going to be very interesting is, again, this is year 2, but they've already shooken up the college football playoff. So it's the 4 best teams are going to be 1 through 4. Mm-hmm. And I say that because last year's bracket, we all saw how ridiculous it was. And how Penn State basically coasted through. Notre Dame felt like they kind of coasted through. They only had Georgia really down on their side to pose any threat to those other two. I want to see how the bracket plays out and where these Big 12 teams, where the group of 6 team plays in, and how a bracket looks when we were saying, okay, we're going to take that silliness of last year out of the way, and we're just going to look at 1 through 11. And I say that because whoever the group of 6 team would be the 12th team. I want to see how that bracket looks. And then you have to start evaluating, okay, do these ACC Big 12 teams really have a chance when they're going up against higher seeded SEC Big 10 teams? I don't know.
Yeah. Do they announce the college football playoff before the Army-Navy game?
Yes.
So if Navy has a shot at it, I don't think they'll get in because they'll still have a game.
We had that debate last year when Army and Navy were good because it's always the day after the championship week. And the championship week is always the Friday, Saturday after the end of the regular season. And then after that is the Army-Navy game.
That's going to be interesting. What happens there?
Is Navy up for it? Because Navy's
undefeated. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think Navy does play Notre Dame.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure Notre Dame plays Army and Navy every year. No, just Navy. You're right.
Yeah.
But
so that's going to be the interesting one. See what happens there. I mean, let's just say that they knock off Notre Dame. And they're undefeated going into the Army game. Can the college football playoff put them in the playoff with a game left on their schedule?
Yeah, if they're undefeated. Because they could probably make the argument, okay, even if you lose that game, it's a rivalry game. It's a unique game. We still deem you as the best group of 6 team, regardless of the outcome of that game.
That'd be interesting. I know they got left out of a bowl game for that exact reason.
Yeah, but I'll tell you right now, you're never going to give that game up in the sense because you are the only game on. You control that weekend, and it is such an amazing atmosphere.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure CBS pays an arm and a leg for that because the coverage is unreal. So you're never giving that up.
No.
I don't know. As much as we all want that Cinderella story, maybe, as long as it's not against us,
Mhm.
I really just cannot see that group of 6 team thriving. Again, you had Boise State last year
Mhm.
with an elite running back, a solid team. They weren't even competitive against Penn State.
I think it just takes the right situation. Every now and then it'll happen. It's just not very often. It's just not going to be very often.
No, it would be a lot like March Madness
Yeah.
in college basketball. It happens, but it'd be rare.
Yeah.
But that's again, that's just one win, right? What
Mhm.
we're really looking at is saying, okay, who do we see flushing themselves out and being, in the Final Four or the
Mhm.
championship game? And that's again where college football fans, I don't think we're going to have what we've had in years past, where it was like, oh, Alabama's dominant, Georgia's
Mhm.
dominant, Clemson's dominant, Ohio State's dominant, and it's these clear, we know who's going to be there. Because again, last year, December 1st,
Mhm.
none of us thought Ohio State was going to be a national champion. None of us. I don't care who you were, Ohio State fan. December 1st, none of us thought that.
On
And
December
so
1st.
that's what's so ironic is it's hard to really get emotional or to talk about I know what I know about college football on September 28th
Mhm.
because we didn't even know December 1st last year. So that's where I think what you have to look at when you're watching college football is who's got the good coaching, who's overcoming the game that they might have lost years past, but they don't.
Yeah.
Which players are really stepping up? Which teams are avoiding injuries? I think those are the new things you're looking at as opposed to just, style points and a number next to a name.
Yeah. Well, it was awesome. This week was awesome. We saw college football upsets all across the board. Was it 3 through like 6 lost?
3, 4, 5, and 8.
3, 4, 5, and 8. Yeah. Awesome. This is what college football's all about. Great to be a part of it. It was absolutely fun to watch Ohio State get the dub from UW, take it back home. Great atmosphere. Can't wait to see more. Just want to see this offense develop a little bit more to match this defense and look out because the attacking national champs need to start attacking on that offense, baby. That's all I'm asking. All right.
We'll get there.
Peace
We'll get
out.
there.
God bless. Seattle's been fun. Until next time.